Record number of people have descended upon the streets of Mumbai to bid a tearful farewell to Bal Thackeray. Perhaps in 100 years we have not witnessed a gathering of so many people. At last count, about 2 million people have lined this route along which the cortege of Bal Thackeray is moving as it nears Shivaji Park, where for the first time in Shivaji's Park history a cremation will be held. Let's quickly go across to Shivaji Park, where we are joined by our senior editor Javed Ansari to give us some updates. Javed, what are you hearing?
Rahul, I have with me our Mumbai Bureau Chief Sahil Joshi, and he'll bring us up to date. Sahil, tell us, what is the latest? Where is the cottage? And we are told that that Raj Thackeray has left the cottage, and he's like, what's happening?
The procession has a big crowd with it, and that is the reason why normally the distance should take around 20 minutes. Now it is taking more than 2 hours. It had just reached near Shiv Sena Bhavan, and at Shiv Sena Bhavan they are going to keep it for around half an hour, 45 minutes, and then from Shiv Sena Bhavan the whole procession will come to Shivaji Park, and from here they will be keeping it here. But the main important point is that since last 2 days we have been seeing Raj Thackeray at Matoshri taking care of the whole situation. He was meeting different people, but today suddenly in the morning we did not see him carrying the corpse with him outside Matoshri. In the morning we did not see him on the truck, the truck which was used in the procession. He was walking ahead of that particular truck, and suddenly in between he left the procession. He has reached his residence here, and now he is saying that he will directly come for the cremation. It looks like that in the whole scenario he feels left out, and he thinks that the whole procession is made out as if it's only and only Shiv Sena's thing, and Bal Thackeray is only related to Shiv Sena. The other relatives actually doesn't exist. So even at Shiv Sena Bhavan function, Raj Thackeray is not going to be there. He is going to be at his residence, and after when the procession will reach here at around 5 o'clock, when the cremation will begin, that time it is expected that Raj Thackeray is going to reach at Shivaji Park.
So based on what you're saying, depending on these developments, obviously the rift hasn't healed completely, has it?
Absolutely, and in fact some sources were telling us, Javed, that Bal Thackeray in his last few days was actually trying to bridge that gap between two brothers. He actually called two brothers at in his room and tried to tell them that they have to come together if they want to come to power. If they have to put up a joint fight against Congress and NCP if they want to make something of their political career. But it looks like from today's incidents that the rift is still there, and gap is still there. The ego issues are still there, and it doesn't look like in near future that both the brothers are going to bury whatever they had between them in the past, and going to put up a fight against Congress and NCP.
So Rahul, a very important and significant piece of news just brought to us by our Bureau Chief, Mr. Sahil Joshi. He says the rift hasn't healed. So obviously what Bala Sahab couldn't achieve while he was alive, apparently it appears he may have failed to do so even in his death.
Well, of course, at the risk of overinterpretation, one could reach, in fact, that conclusion. But the fact of the matter is that in different ways, any actions by the Thackerays today, by the science today, will be interpreted to suit any particular point of view. Of course, there will be many who will read a different meaning into the fact that Raj Thackeray is not going to be at least along with the cortege right now, or why he actually stepped off the funeral cortege. There will be many interpretations of that. But two individuals joining us in our studios today. One, of course, an active politician, Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, who's also a personal friend of Bala Thackeray. Also joining us, filmmaker Ashok Pandit, someone who's very close to the Thackeray family, has been with them in this hour of grief over the last 1 week, Mr. Pandit. Yeah. We are looking at a number of iconic snapshots of the life and times of Bala Thackeray in a brave attempt to try and encapsulate his life into 10 photographs. Always very difficult to do, larger than life figure as he is. But Ashok Pandit, how would you remember Bala Thackeray? Many people today are already beginning to speculate on his legacy. Many people are already coming out and saying that, look, the fact that Raj Thackeray is not on the cortege has a symbolism of its own. But in your view, do you think this family will transcend that divide? Do you believe that Bala Saheb Thackeray sat down before his demise with his nephew and his son and asked them to bury their differences? And did he, since you have been speaking with some of his family members, lay down some sort of a definitive roadmap?
Rahul, first of all, today I think is not the day to discuss their personal family issues and their political.
One appreciates that sentiment.
Because Bala Saheb was above these things, and he wanted the family to remain together. There is no two opinions on that. Probably I, from within, from my heart, knowing Raji on Uddhav and the entire family, I am very positive about it. This is my personal view. I am not an official spokesperson of both the parties. But knowing them and knowing their hearts, knowing their behavioral pattern, knowing their body language, and knowing the entire sanskar, the culture of the family, I am quite positive about it. So there is a small, incident which actually Subramji also will agree to it. That family has a very strong culturally based values of the family. It's a very value based family. When you go to Bal Thackeray's house, Bala Saheb's house, and thousands of people used to come to his house. Due political reasons, different reasons, and all that. Bala Saheb used to call Meenatai down first before starting the discussion, and he used to introduce Meenatai to those people, whosoever that person was, and used to ask, what do you like to have first? Tell us that, then we'll see. Meenatai used to go up, cook, get the things down. Bala Saheb and Meenatai used to serve things to the guests who are at home, and then the discussion used to start. Now what I'm trying to say, if the family is based on this kind of cultural values, the family will get together, and it's nothing to do with Bala Saheb's unfortunate demise. Ultimately the blood is thicker, and Raj Thackeray and Uddhav ji, they have grown up together. Difference of opinions happens, but these last 10-15 days or whatever the turmoil which we are seeing in the family, I am quite sure about it, with the strong bonding of theirs, that both of them, the entire family, will get together.
I'm just going to go across to Javed Ansari, but before that, Dr. Swami, would you like to add to the views that have been expressed by Mr. Ashok Pandit? A lot of people today are looking at the first family of the Shiv Sena. They're going to take their cues from the way the first family reacts to this situation. If already there is talk of perhaps divide, maybe even premature, and one has to add that caveat. The point is that there is enough political space for both these individuals to evolve and develop. Do you see that happening?
Well, the situation that has developed so far is that Raj Thackeray literally stood up alone, and he has done quite well. He has maybe some of his supporters have been violent, but the fact is that in the polls, whether it's in Bombay or in Nanded or other places, you have found that he has performed well. So he has that self-confidence that I can stand alone. Now, in the case of Uddhav, he has the party. He is the son of Bal Thackeray, so he has that advantage. Even in the funeral, if he is in focus, is no surprise. He is the son. Now, whether these two can get together, well, I personally think that, as I agree with him, they should get together, because they're not ideologically, there's not much difference. But there has to be some kind of arrangement of mutually dividing territory. There's no other way that the two can jointly make any decisions.
It's a lethal combination, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, let me talk about one dark horse that some people have referred to. Javed Ansari, if you're there, many people have also been looking at the manner in which Aditya Thackeray has, over the last few years, come to the forefront. He's also beginning to command what many people say is a distinct following of his own, built on certain principles that he's espoused. He has had, of course, his fair share of controversies when he took on certain intellectuals in Maharashtra, in Bombay University, etc. But the fact of the matter is that there are many identities that are being cultivated amongst the scions of the Sena, in a sense broad basing the party, if not in appeal, at least at some level in bandwidth.
Yes, Rahul, and that in a way ironically adds to the problem, comes in the way, or let me put it another way, it is yet another obstacle in the way of reunification or complete political rapprochement. It's one, Raj as it is myth. He's pretty cut up by the fact that he was mentored, he was given to believe, he was mentored and touted as the heir apparent. Suddenly, in the 11th hour of Uddhav Thackeray was pitchfork, and now at the last Dasara celebrations, Bal Thackeray made it clear not only would Uddhav Thackeray need to be looked after, and thereafter also his son. So therefore, effectively from being number one, from being a contender for the number one position, Raj Thackeray now has to settle as best for number 3. This is something which Raj's supporters say is absolutely unpalatable to him. And the fact that today was a great opportunity for the Thackeray family to rally together and send out all the right signals. The fact that Raj is not there, and as Sahil was saying, that the other members of the family feel miffed, would be is a great opportunity missed by the Thackeray family to convey this picture of unity.
Well, of course, as I must add the caveat, these are early days, and a day is a very long time, sometimes an eternity in politics. You never quite know how things pan out over the long run. Mumbai bidding a tearful farewell to Balasaheb Thackeray this morning and afternoon.
दर्शन घ्यायचं आहे. सर्व शिवसैनिकांना विनंती की सर्वांनी शांतता व संयम बाळगायचा आहे. एकमेकांना धक्काबुक्की करू नका. सगळ्यांना साहेबांचं दर्शन होणार आहे. कृपया स्टेजवर जे मुख्य रथ आहे यावरती सर्वांनी शांतता बाळगायची आहे. पुढे येण्याचा कोणी प्रयत्न करू नका. सर्वांनी शांतता बाळगा. कृपया जी अनाउन्समेंटची गाडी आहे त्यावर नेते मंडळींना पुढे उभं राहण्यासाठी ठेवण्यात आलेले आहे. कृपया कोणी त्या गाडीवर गर्दी करू नका. अनाउन्समेंटच्या गाडीवरती परंतु ते आपल्या हृदयात कायमच आहे. मंडळी प्लीज बसायचं. पैसे वाढवायचे. लोक सहकार्य करायचं. मंडळी आपण थांबायचं. जैसे ही निकले बताना. आता 2 मिनिटाचं सिक्स आहे. 2 मिनिटाचं सहकार्य करा. 2 मिनिटं एकदा आहे प्लीज. कमांडर
Bal Thackeray is fantastic on the ground level.
So one is a micromanager, one is a man manager. One says, I must take charge of a situation. Uddhav is free to devolve responsibility upon others to organize also perhaps equally well a situation.
Yeah, and Raj, if you see, he gets into the nitty-gritty of it, and entire work of his, entire organization of his, he is spick and span. Absolutely, there's no confusion.
Well,
so that's why he has taken the responsibility of Shivaji Park.
The Samna's farewell edition, pictures of that on our screens as of now. The Samna magazine itself, of course, the mouthpiece of the ideology of Balasaheb Thackeray today, very somberly expressing the passing of an era. Let me go across to Vidya, who joins us from the Sena Bhavan. Vidya, how far now is the cortege from Shivaji Park and the Sena Bhavan? We're having a few problems getting across to Vidya because there are 3 layers of security around the cortege. There are jammers in operation, and presumably if the cortege has come close to where our camera position is, where Vidya is, there's going to be signal interference. But those are the pictures broadcast live. Ashok Pandit, you've had an opportunity of speaking with the family members. How have they prepared emotionally for this moment? What have they been saying? Was it a philosophical view that they had taken? Was there a little bit of uncertainty in their understanding of the situation, their comprehension of the situation?
Rahul, when 4 days back, when we and me and myself and mother, we were with the family, Uddhav was very positive, and he had a fantastic positive vibration around him, and so was with his wife Rashmi, and we were very confident, and he was very positive about Balasaheb getting better and he coming back, and though he was philosophical also, and there's a lot of spiritualism vibrations in the entire house, and he said he used to say that because he's a fighter, Balasaheb is a fighter, and you saw the cartoons which were coming out, that he can refuse Yavraj also to come near to him, but he was also talking about destiny, and nobody can stop destiny being changed or something like that. But he was positive. He was positive. His son was positive. Rashmi was positive, and even their senior leaders were very positive. Subhash Desai and Vinayak Raut and Ravindra Vaikar, every one of them were very positive about it.
The funeral cortege as of now snaking through the artery of Mumbai on the Western Express Highway. Where it began, it is now coursing through the nerve center of Mumbai. Those bastions of Sena's support like Matunga and Dadar and Mahim, where the Shiv Sena has enjoyed a fanatical following for the last 40 years, since its inception in 1966. It's not a sea of humanity, it's a veritable ocean of humanity, a tsunami of people. Uddhav Thackeray bid a very emotional and tearful farewell to his father when his body left Matoshri at around 9 this morning. Since then, he has composed himself, and you can see him, you can spot him if you can look through the crowds, alongside the body of Balasaheb Thackeray on the cortege. In sharp contrast, his cousin, his brother, Raj has been the epitome of composure. He has been organizing the funeral arrangements for the last several hours, was at Shivaji Park very, very early on in the morning to ensure that everything is taken care of meticulously. Joining us of the NCP is Majid Menon, also someone who knows the Thackerays very well, someone who has interacted with not just Balasaheb Thackeray but also Raj Thackeray and of course Uddhav Thackeray. Also in our studios this afternoon is Ashok Pandit, a family friend of the Thackeray, someone who has been with them and by their side in the last tragic hours of the demise of Balasaheb Thackeray. Let me first welcome Mr. Majid Menon. Mr. Menon, today, as you look back on your association with Balasaheb Thackeray, what are the emotions that you would like to share with us, the views that you would like to share with us?
See, Rahul, there are a couple of things which probably people may not know. Number one is that, Dr. Jalil Parkar, who has been regularly attending Balasaheb for the past about 3 years, has been our family doctor also. And he has been visiting me every alternate day or at least twice a week. He takes breakfast with us. He's like a part of our family. So I am particularly being informed about the health condition of Balasaheb and as also Uddhav, who underwent that angioplasty recently. Now, number two, yesterday, a couple of hours before the end came, I was at Matushri. I was with Sanjay Raut, Manohar Joshi and Mr. Desai and several other close people, and I was there for about half an hour to 45 minutes, and we knew that Balasaheb was not very in happy position, and at that time prayers were going on. People from various religious sects, religious organizations, including people from Ajmer, had descended there, and everybody was thinking that there would be a revival, there would be a miracle. The doctors were also saying that, well, we can't rule out a charisma because this is a charismatic leader. Now, let us also, we may have political differences as far as ideologies are concerned, but as a person, I am his admirer because way back in 70s when I used to be in my early college days, we used to run to Shivaji Park and Kamgar Maidan to hear him because he was an outstanding orator. He, George Fernandez, Professor Madhu Dandaute, those days, they were crowd pullers by virtue of their oratorial skills, and Balasaheb was one among them. And his cartoons, his caricatures, and his very satiric, very ironic expressions, impromptu reactions, his humor, his sense of wit, is all keeps him above an average person. And I knew him fairly well. And as a matter of fact, when I visited him a couple of years ago, he just asked me, Mr. Menon, if I am in difficulty, would you appear for me? I said, certainly, why not, sir? Because the profession, and more so if I am honored to defend you, I would certainly do it in my professional capacity. Our political differences may be apart. See, all said and done, this man, I must salute him for this reason, and whole Maharashtra salutes him for more than one reason. Number one is that all along he was a fighter, a fierce fighter who never cared for anybody, never cared for fear or frown or anything, and he had defied law. He had the courage to defy administration. He would say, what I say, I have said, that's all. You do whatever you can. Such courageous person, such outspoken persons are very rare in our today's society. We may not justify some of his stands about, driving away people or linguistic, etc. That may be a different thing. But the rigidity, the conviction, the stubbornness with which he used to convey his thoughts fearlessly was indeed admirable. Today, Rahul, we are seeing a sea, as you rightly said, not just sea, but an ocean of people. This is out of affection to him. This is out of love to him. This is out of commitment towards, what this giant person was. It's a historic day today. It's a historic event today that we are seeing whole city of Mumbai has come to a practical grinding halt.
Ashok Pandit, it's an interesting point of view. Majid Memon said that he would attend these rallies, though he didn't agree at fundamental level with the exclusivist viewpoint, but he would attend because Bala Saheb Thackeray would cut across perhaps the jargon of rhetoric and appeal or strike a chord with some of these young men who were looking for someone to admire or look up to, an anchor who could perhaps be a guide through life, etc. But there was also, of course, many people who came out and they feared the demagogic side of Bala Saheb Thackeray, his disregard for the law. Many people had reservations about that. It's difficult at a time like this to focus on the negatives, but there were, of course, episodes in the past where Bala Saheb Thackeray was not really the darling of the masses. He had successfully alienated himself. But today, all of that seems to have been forgotten, because 20 lakh people to attend the final rites, bid farewell, is not suggestive of someone who is only being viewed as a divisive force.
Rahul, I have always been of the opinion, and that was my faith and my belief, right from day one, since the time I met him, due to some reasons, whether it was the film industry issues or my Kashmir issues. Bala Saheb was the only leader who had a following of lakhs of people who were emotionally attached to him. One call of his, people were ready to die for him, which we used to feel when we see those visuals of black and white days of Gandhiji, Pandit Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Those images of black and white days which we see now on the channels on your screen can be compared, as you rightly said, with Lokmanya Tilak. In these visuals which you are seeing now, none of the leader in this country has, with due respect to all of them, has this kind of emotionally attached audience, emotionally attached following. I don't think any leader exists in this country now. Now you're talking about,
but of course that's your point of view. I mean, there will be several people.
That's my personal.
That caveat must be.
No, that's of course that's my point of view. And actually, whatever I am saying is my point of view. It cannot be anybody else's point of view. And I'm a strong believer of this, because this man, whether you say his statements or anti something like that, people might not like all those statements, but his conviction and his seriousness was what people loved and what people liked about it.
It's an interesting point, because a large number of politicians, and I want to go across to Gaurav Sawant, our editor, because at the very crucible of his politics was Shivaji Park, where he would reach out to these people. Gaurav Sawant, who's there at Shivaji Park, a lot of those people who gathered there today would have heard Bala Saheb Thackeray and would have agreed, or at least at some level or the other engaged with his discourse. Just tell us, give us a sense of the overriding emotion among some of these mourners there.
Rahul, yesterday Lata Mangeshkar, she summed up the emotions of these people when she said Maharashtra has been orphaned after the news of Bala Saheb Thackera's sad demise spread. I have walked with these people. We reached here at 4 in the morning. There were hundreds of people who had already assembled at 4 in the morning. There are many more who kept trooping in through the day. Now there are lakhs who are accompanying Bala Saheb Thackera's mortal remains, and many more who've already arrived here. They haven't come, they haven't been paid to come here, they haven't been shepherded in buses and brought here. A lot of them said Bala Saheb Thackeray was like their father. Today they feel a loss, as if they've either lost their father or someone very senior in the family who they owed a lot to. More than love, it's that feeling of gratitude, that feeling of being indebted to Bala Saheb Thackeray. Because some of these youngsters, now Bala Saheb Thackeray was 86 years old. He could have related to 2 generations before us. He could have related to the last generation. He continues to relate to this generation. That is the generation that has seen the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, and Bala Saheb Thackeray is the only one who says we will not play cricket with Pakistan till the time justice is done. So he continues to strike a chord, whether it's his anti-communist line, whether it's his anti a particular community line, or whether it's his anti-Pakistan line, down the years, he continues to relate to people. Will his ideology remain relevant in the years to come is the million-dollar question.
Well, that question at some level might even be being answered even as we speak, Gaurav, because this show of solidarity with the Thackeray family will be interpreted by the Thackeray family as a symbol that the people want to stand with them and they want to see them continuing the legacy. That is fundamentally the message that is coming through. But just a short while back, Gaurav, Sahil Joshi was with us on air, and he mentioned that there was speculation that Raj Thackeray had broken away from the cortege and was now back at his residence because he felt that too much was being made of one side of the family and not his side of the family, and it had become a Shiv Sena show rather than a joint MNS Shiv Sena show. Obviously, that is something that the Thackerays will have to reconcile with in the years or months or weeks ahead. But just talk us through the current location of Raj Thackeray and what his plans are over the next few hours.
You're absolutely right. Now, Raj Thackeray, you know, when you say the Thackerays, it was the Thackerays when Bal Thackeray was alive and when Raj Thackeray did not break away and form the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena. When Bal Thackeray was unwell, Raj Thackeray came immediately. When Uddhav was unwell, Bal Thackeray made one phone call to Raj and he rushed back to Mumbai and he was by Uddhav's side. But throughout, our sources in the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena constantly told us this is out of sheer respect for Bal Thackeray. There is no reproachma, there is no talk of reproachma.
Okay, hold your thoughts.
I may tell you another small incident. Okay.
Just hold your thoughts, Gaurav. I'm going to come back to you because we are joined by Guresh Kuber, who is a political analyst on the phone. Mr. Kuber, thanks indeed for speaking to Headlines today. We're getting news that Raj Thackeray may not be with the cortege as of now. He's gone back to his residence because he feels somewhere deep down that this is becoming appropriated by the Shiv Sena as a Shiv Sena show. Obviously, it's very premature to overanalyze any fast-moving, evolving, dynamic situation. But just talk us through these pictures that we are witnessing and the message that the people of Maharashtra are sending to the Thackerays today by their sheer presence.
From Raj Thackeray and Shiv Sena's point of view, death of an uncle and running political party are two distinctly different things for Raj Thackeray. He's been very clear about it. He has been categorically clear about his position vis-a-vis uncle and the party he heads. So there are two separate things which couldn't be mixed. And I strongly believe, even in the near future, it's very, very unlikely that Bal Thackeray's legacy will be shared by his nephew and the son. It is almost impossible. Raj Thackeray will go his way, and what I suspect that the problem will be for Shiv Sena to hold on to the legacy, to hold on to all its factions. And the way last 3-4 days they were running, it shows, it unfortunately shows how helter-skelter Shiv Sena leadership was running around and how loosely organized, loosely structured the organization is. Even when Shiv Sena chief was on his deathbed, the way Shiv Sena leaders were behaving, the way the loose statements they were making, and it was complete chaos. There was no one in command, no one was in control, and it shows the way our organization is structured. So in the near future, I don't see any reason Raj Thackeray and Uddhav Thackeray coming closer. Right. Whatever is happening today, obviously he will not go to Sena Bhavan, because Sena Bhavan is a headquarters of a political party which he is defected away from. So there is not much to read on that. There will not be any catch-up on that front. I'm absolutely sure about it.
Mr. Kuber, thanks indeed. Do stay on with us. I'm just going to go back to Gaurav Sawant, and after that I will go across to Mr. Majid Memon to get a sense also of the way perhaps other political parties are looking at the developments. Gaurav, you were making a point before I interrupted you.
You know, two things. Once when Bal Thackeray's mortal remains were being taken to the Sena Bhavan, Raj Thackeray couldn't be seen as the head of Maharashtra Navnirman Sena going into the Shiv Sena Bhavan. That is point one. A couple of days ago, when Bal Thackeray was under the weather, Raj Thackeray was inside that house. but he came out of Matoshri. He did not go home. He went and slept in his car. He switched on the AC of his car and he went off to sleep in the car. So there is a subtle message even there. That's another point. The third point is the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena is now a very powerful force to reckon with. That is what MNS insiders are now telling us, that in the times to come, they see a lot of people gravitate towards them and they might just end up being the real Shiv Sena. Uddhav underwent a couple of procedures. He's not well. Will he be up to the mark? Does he have Balasaheb Thackre's charisma? Many aspects here. So at this point of time, Raj, while he's done all the work, he was here till well past midnight looking after the arrangements. He's a force to reckon with independently. He's not playing second fiddle to the Shiv Sena at this stage.
So performing his duties is Raj Thackeray, whether they extend to also internalizing the message of Balasaheb Thackeray and making up with his cousin, that remains to be seen. Let me bring in Majid Menon. Majid Menon, there is, over the last few months, we are witnessing a gradual churn in Maharashtra politics. The NCP is going through its own transition insofar as Mr. Sharad Pawar taking a back seat and indicating that he's not going to contest polls. Are we going to see these parties being able to transition from leaders who were closely identified with these outfits? Will that happen?
Rahul, I think this is not the time when we should discuss these issues. Now, I have heard you and others now talking about differences between Uddhav and Raj. Even that need not be highlighted. There are certain things which are happening over the last 48 hours that it has been pointed out by Gaurav that Raj slept in his car when he was in Matoshri, etc. Now today somebody said that he in a fit went home and then now probably he was not a part of this. These are all internal things where we must not read too much between the lines. Today is a very delicate and a very sensitive day.
Yes.
And we wish all the best to the entire Thackeray family, including
Uddhav, including
Raj and everybody.
That sentiment is appreciably taken on board, Mr. Menon.
Give me one minute more. Yeah, I'm coming to that. Just give me 1 minute more. See, what is important is that, well, it is true that with the exit of Balasaheb Thackeray, a giant in Maharashtra political scenario, there is going to be a huge vacuum and there will be realignment, readjustment, etc. among four major players in Maharashtra: BJP, Sena, Congress, NCP. But all these discussions can take place a little later. I think today I am not in a proper frame of mind to share with you any idea as to what will happen to Shiv Sena or what will happen to MNS. This is not the time, Rahul, that we should debate on such matters. Let us all give rich tribute to the departed soul, who indeed was a giant in his personal capacity. He was, a very witty person,
yes,
a very intelligent man. I may disagree with him on various ideologies, yet I salute him. And I wish that today now, that such a huge human ocean, as you said, is now only paying
so one
tribute to him.
Respects that point of view, Mr. Menon. I assure you, we respect that point of view. It's an important point of view. But there are questions that are being asked, and they are being asked also today of many people who are turning up and who perhaps can't countenance a future where Balasaheb Thackeray will not be addressing them from the ramparts of Shivaji Park. That is the human dimension of this tragedy, and one cannot divorce that really from the events that we witnessed. Ashok Pandit, the family as such has shown great dignity even after the split in responding to the circumstances. One of the standout features that Majid Menon will admit to is the manner in which both the cousins have never really personally attacked each other, which speaks volumes really for, as you were talking about, the value systems that have been instilled in the Thackeray youth.
I totally agree to what Majid and what you are also mentioning, Rahul. The bonding of the family, though there might be difference of opinions, has been on a very solid base. And remember, that base has been constructed by Bal Thackeray and Meenatai Thackeray. That base is so strong that sometimes some storm might come and there might be some breakage in the walls or the doors or some structure of the house.
As is the case in any family.
But it can be reconstructed.
Yes.
See, when the time changes, when everybody reacts according to the situation and time, things don't remain the same. We have seen in political circles the political leaders who abuse each other, who accuse each other. They are sitting on the same stage and they fight elections together also. And in contrast to that, here we are talking about the same family.
Yes.
So they are on a better pedestal to prove political affiliations on the right track. What I Rahul, definitely would like to mention in your program and address to the people, one thing which is very important, which was very important about Bala Saab's character, which Majid said that people used to go and listen to the speeches of Bala Saab. The humor element of Bala Saab, which used to come in his speeches, was the reason why I used to go to listen to him and why people used to go to him. He was a brilliant performer. He used to mimic people, which you can see in Raj also.
Yes.
When that element of mimicry, the element of performance, is a brilliant performance. And they know how to catch the emotions of the people, which a political leader should know. My tribute to this man, my salute to this man, is also because of one important reason, Rahul, which I would like to mention, is that this man is responsible for not converting nearly 30,000 youths of Kashmir into terrorism. How? Because when exodus happened in Kashmir, when the problems happened in Kashmir, I went to him with a proposal of seeing to it that the youths of Kashmir get into education, because education, we are a 100% educated community.
Yes.
We want education to continue so that we don't get into that picking up guns and all that.
Okay.
And this man did it in 10 minutes. He created a quota of seats in Maharashtra, the first government who did this, who understood the Kashmir problem.
Well, perhaps that's the reason why today you have people from different walks of life, people from different ethnicities in attendance. Let me quickly go across to Gaurav Sawant before we take a break. Gaurav, very quickly, how are the people going to be accommodated in the next hour or so in Shivaji Park? Because we do know that there are lakhs that are accompanying the cortege, and all of them are going to descend on Shivaji Park, which already has, if I'm not mistaken, around 2 lakh people in attendance.
And many more waiting to come in. The arrangements that the Shiv Sena has done is to put giant screens, not just inside the Shivaji Park, but also on the periphery. So whoever cannot come inside, there are massive television cameras and jeeps that are broadcasting to Shiv Sainiks through these giant television screens, live all activity that is going on inside. Constantly they are being told that the mortal remains of Bala Saheb Thackeray are being brought here. They should remain patient. They should witness this entire history being created, as is being said, because never have so many people assembled at Shivaji Park in such numbers before, and perhaps never again.